Welcome to the Angel Mystic Podcast. I am super excited you are listening because this is where spiritually open minds can come together to explore the wonders of angels, spiritual connections, and the art of manifesting. Hosted by me, Amanda Tooke, the Angel Mystic, your spiritual midwife to help you on your journey to a fulfilling and happy life. You may have seen me on ITV, Channel 4, or even in Fate and Fortune magazine. In each episode, we will delve into the mystical world of angels, offering you insights, guidance, practical tools to deepen your connection with the upstairs so that you can find inner peace, happiness, joy, and create the life that you want. Tune in for weekly, fun conversations, transformational insights that will elevate your spiritual journey and awaken your inner mystic. Please hit subscribe now as we embark on a transformational adventure with the Angel Mystic Podcast. Welcome back to the Angel Mystic Podcast, and today I've got a special guest for you. I know you're going to love hearing all about Sean and his amazing life. Sean is a psychic medium, but I will leave him to tell you more about himself and all the magical work that he does, because he does a lot of helping people and helping them manifest and helping them create the lives that they want, moving through blockages and all of that good stuff. So welcome, Sean. Thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me today, Amanda. I'm so excited to just talk, share, and hopefully we'll be able to help a few people along the way.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely. I was reading through your notes and thinking about what can I ask you, and what I really wanted to know is what really sort of hooked me in what you'd said is that at 14 years old, you started getting into tarot readings as a teen. So, tell me more about that. How did you get into readings as a teenager?
Okay. So where do we start? Because it all kind of started in and around and a little bit before the age of 14. I grew up in a very, very Catholic family. I was an altar boy and all of that type of stuff as a child, and I've done a complete flip from what I was as a kid to who I am as a grown-up. In saying that, I have had the most wonderful, supportive family, because I went a little bit off the Christian, their traditional beliefs. I would say that my grandmother had a direct line to God. That's just the way that she was. I spent a lot of time growing up with my grandparents, with my mum, and I was always kind of into anything psychic, whether it be a TV show, like X-Men, the cartoon back when I was a kid. Like, my favorite was always the psychic in it. So I've always had that interest in those things. And, if you ask my grandmother, she would say that I always used to speak to angels when I was a child. If you ask my mum, on the other hand, she'll say that, yeah, I was always a little weirdo. So, I've always had that interest in those types of things. And when I was 14, and I will remember this until the day God calls me, I was spending the weekend with my aunt and my cousins, and she was giving us our pocket money at the weekend. So she would have normally give us £10, and one particular weekend she only had 29 in her purse. So 10 to her son, 10 to her daughter, and 9 to me. So me and my cousin went to where we were going, like the local shopping sort of centre. And if you remember Eason's, the bookstore, there was an Eason's in there, and they'd done a wee tarot starter pack. That was $7.99, which gave me enough money to buy the tarot deck, to buy the little guidebook, and also to get myself a bar of chocolate as well. That is when I got my first ever deck of tarot cards. I used to think that I had to hide them from my mum and from, the rest of my family. And I started doing readings for other students in school. And not only that, then the teachers found out that I was doing that. So then the teachers would have got me to call round to their class after school to do readings for them as well. And this was all kept hush-hush for like a very long time. Again, I went to a Christian school. It was a Christian curriculum. You know, it was a Catholic school I went to, but I would have been doing readings for teachers, you know, on lunch breaks, after school. And then I think it was 16 that people started actually paying me for doing tarot readings. Now, way back then, what's that? That's 20 years ago now. You know, I was getting like £5, £10 for doing a reading, and it was very, very different from the quality of work that I would deliver now in a reading. But yeah, 20 years, I started doing my first paid readings.
Wow, that's amazing. It's really interesting because there was two things that came to mind as you were talking then, is that sometimes people think that you shouldn't buy your own tarot deck. You shouldn't, you know, oracle cards. You have to have them gifted, which is, I think it's an old wives' tale, and it's okay to buy your own deck. Lovely if you get a gift, of course, but it is okay to buy your own deck, because I think people sometimes hold themselves back from, you know, getting the tools that they need to connect, because they feel like they have to tick all the boxes and follow what, you know, they've been told to do. So I'm glad that you bought your own deck. I bought my own deck of tarots as well, my first deck. I've only ever had one deck of tarot. Tarot didn't hook me in. It sort of started me off, but it didn't really hook me in. It was angel cards that sort of took over for me.
Yeah.
But of course, they're just a tool, aren't they, to help you bring information through. But what influenced you that made you sort of pull away from the church and stuff and get into finding your own way with spirituality?
Okay. I don't know how much, you know, detail you actually want me to go into on certain aspects of me as a person with this, but if we go back, you know, 20 odd years ago, me being around the age 12, 13, hormones going absolutely crazy, having a lot of questions about myself, and hearing that a religion that I have dedicated so much of, well, basically all of my life to at that stage as a 12, 13-year-old, you know, I was a very, very devout Catholic. And then to be told that the things that I'm hearing, the guidance that I'm getting is wrong. And then you also add puberty into that, and me beginning to, you know, understand that part of who I am is in, oh, I'm not a heterosexual person. And I'm also being told that that part of me is wrong. So whenever I was met with, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong about you, me specifically, that brought up a lot of questions for me, and that brought up a lot of shame and a lot of guilt for me, because I then had to deny and suppress, I think, the two parts of me now that people really connect with. You know, they connect with the aspect of me that is, you know, Psychic in the City is my business name. They connect with that person. They connect with the fact that, you know, I am a little bit flamboyant. I'm a little bit out there, you know. I'm not your typical, you know, straight bloke. And those things really draw people or people come to me because of those. I'm friendly, I'm approachable, I'm out there. I don't fit inside a box. But way back when, it was guilt, it was shame, I was wrong, and I'm going to hell for that. So I started to, I know. So I started to explore a lot of other things. And back then, you know, the internet started to become a thing. So, you know, I was able to research. I was able to look into, you know, other religions, other spiritual beliefs, and, you know, I came across things like Buddhism, spirituality. Thankfully, again, you know, there was other great influences in my life, like my mum's friends, for example, very spiritually minded, who would have chatted to me about, you know, things like the spiritualist movement, the spiritualist religion. So they would have chatted about things like Wicca and so on and so forth. So I had a lot of questions that the Catholic Church couldn't answer. So I went on my own journey of discovery from them.
Yeah. I asked because I was brought up in a very religious house as well, and went to a, you know, religious school, and yeah, even went to Sunday school, which, you know, baffles me now. But I went because I was, you know, complying, and that was, you know, what was expected from me. But I sort of rebelled, and I never actually felt comfortable within a church, and I still don't. But that's to do with my past lives and finding out more about my past lives and understanding that one of my past lives, I was killed for prophecy by a priest. So, therefore I don't sort of gel well with, the religious, because it's a people thing, isn't it? I totally believe in God and something bigger and greater than us, whatever you want to call that energy, that dimension. But I just don't like all the human side of it, I suppose, where rules and, you have to do this, not do that. And to me, that isn't because ultimately, source creator is unconditional love energy. That isn't unconditional love energy when you're having to do this and not do that and not be accepted for who you fully are. So, good for you for finding your way. And I loved when we were talking earlier before we hit record about how you were back home and you were going through your old journals. What you've manifested for yourself in this new life in Malta, which is where you live in Malta. I remember going there as a child, and the Blue Grotto is beautiful. I remember Malta is stunning. An interesting energy, I think, in Malta as well. Which is probably why, you're there shining your light and doing something for that. But tell us more about how you've got into manifesting.
Well, a few years ago, battling those, again, we'll move away from the Catholic beliefs to the imposed spiritual beliefs, where it's like you come up through certain organizations and the beliefs of people is you shouldn't earn money with your gifts and you shouldn't charge and, getting to that point where it's like, well, I'm good at what I do without sounding arrogant. I'm good at what I do. People want readings. Surely there must be a way for me to grow my business in a way that, is in alignment with spirit, which is in spiritual harmony. So I started researching things like, the mindset and came across Bob Proctor and his teachings, as I'm sure most people do. And I really, really got into that. I've done a lot of things with Bob Proctor over those years, a lot of his coaching programs, and really started to use that material, but also then add into it my own spiritual aspect of the beliefs and the experiences that I already have to help me get to where I want to be and help me really, really manifest the life that I want. And I don't just mean, a big, nice apartment, flashy car, blah, blah, blah. I know that my life is to help people. That's why I'm here. It's one of those things of people that walk journeys similar to you and I, Amanda. It's, to help other people to move through those limitations. I wanted to sort of find out a way that I can help as many people as much as I possibly can in the shortest period of time and how to get there without tripping myself up.
Yeah. And when you were looking through your old journals that you found in your house, because you had nice big books that you used to write about your future life.
Yeah. So my brother knows that I'm a big Disney fan. I love Sleeping Beauty. It's just my all-time favourite. And my brother bought me, the book that opens at the start of Sleeping Beauty to tell the story, the gold book with the jewels? He bought me one of those as a notebook, and I won't write in it because it's the most precious gift I've ever been given, in my opinion. But the other one, it says made for greatness and has the images of Maleficent and stuff on it. And I thought, yep, definitely, I'm made for greatness. And I was writing in this about 3 years ago because I wasn't in the bestest of places then mentally. And I was writing what I want my life to be like. And it was to be in Malta. It was to have a car because, 3 years ago I was 33, still hadn't passed the driving test. I was like, I want a car. I want to live in Malta. I want to have a seaside view. I want to wake up smiling every single day. I want a healthier body because, again, when we're not feeling so good in the head, that manifests within the body as well. So I had a few, shall I say, not illnesses, maybe a few wee ailments that were starting to show up. And, I wanted rid of all of those things. So the things that I didn't like, I flipped that over. What What would the outcome of that be? What will the positive of that be? And I wrote it all down, page after page, writing it out every day, reading it every day, getting emotionally involved with it every single day. And then I packed all that stuff up and, it all went to my mum's house in boxes, the things that I wasn't bringing over with me. And I have been in Malta 18 months before I went back to Belfast. So there's the writing from then, and then there's the 18 months of the shall we say, the law of non-resistance creeping in to help everything happen, because that was no longer a focus of mine. But about a month ago, I went back to Belfast. I was staying at my mum's. She's like, right, come on, let's see what stuff you want to keep. What do you want to throw out? What will we post over to you? And I was going through one of the boxes, and there was the 2 books. I didn't even look at them, because in my head I was like, I didn't even write in them. I didn't even remember writing in them. So I just stuck them in my suitcase and was like, great, that will do my Malta manifestations. And then whenever I got over here and I opened the book, I was like, oh my goodness, that actually is my Malta manifestations. Everything bar 2 things that I've wrote down, I am living. Down to the sea view that I have from I wake up, I see the sea. And this is not the first place that I moved into either. This is apartment number 3 that I'm in now. And I was in one place by the sea, one place in the middle of Gozo, which didn't have a sea view. And this does. This has exactly the sea view. My health is, I would say, perfect. I've released 5 stone of excess fat in about 9 months. Things are good. I wake up smiling every day, and all those things, I believe that I manifested those, that I was guided to get into this place exactly, so it's amazing.
100% you manifested those, because
oh yeah,
manifesting works.
Mm-hmm.
It really, really does. It's about putting your energy into what you want and totally, holding that focus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where sometimes people don't hold the focus enough. They give up too soon. Oh, it's not turned up this week, so that's it. I'm not going to continue to focus on it. That's when you need to push through that resistance. And like you said before, you took your focus off it, but it was still there in your unconscious mind. And I know that you do a lot of work with the unconscious mind, like I do.
Yeah.
So it isn't about that you have to keep reading the same things and doing your affirmations and all of that good stuff that we can do in a daily practice. It is about surrendering, isn't it? And allowing it to come in divine timing.
Yeah, working with those universal laws, understanding the mind. I used to hear this when I first got into manifesting, which is, we're manifesting all the time.
Yeah.
Manifesting is not just the car, the house, the money, the marriage, etc. You're manifesting everything all of the time based on those subconscious beliefs. Mm-hmm. And like you say, those things that I wrote down, that slipped into my unconscious mind because I got so emotionally involved with it. And the one thing that used to annoy me when I first started getting into the nitty-gritty of the let's deliberately create our lives, it's that making the decision that this is what I want. That's what moves you into harmony. I made the decision that I was no longer tolerating my old life, what was going on, who I was, and I made the committed decision, I'm going to Malta no matter what it takes. And because I got so emotionally involved with that, that's what then became me. That's who I was. That's what I was in harmony with. Not that I'm going to Malta. I'm in Malta in my head already. I'm there. I'm living that life. I am doing that. And that's the difference I find with people. They don't make the committed decision. They're kind of a little bit watery with it, a little bit too fluid. And well, if it happens, it happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Then you're not thinking big enough, love. You need to think bigger, stronger, faster, and go for it. Sorry, I will get on my soapbox an awful lot with this. I really will. But that's because I want the best for people. What I want for me, I want for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are your non-negotiables that you do every day that, keep you moving forward in the direction that you want to go?
My first non-negotiable is getting outside, getting sunlight and fresh air. Doesn't really have much to do with, maybe any manifestation process that you've came across, but getting out, getting moving will really freshen up your energy. It'll break up the stagnant energy around you. It'll help clear the mind a little bit. That is just, I have to do that every single morning. If you follow me on social media, you will see me post my pretty much daily photos of me where I'm out by the sea, I'm sitting, even if it's 10 minutes, I'm just taking that time for me before I even think about doing any mindset work or I think of seeing a client. This is my time to truly just be present in the moment. So I'm already starting the day on a win.
Yeah.
So that's one for me. Get out and get moving. Because don't forget, movement creates motivation. People are always waiting for motivation to start. You could be waiting a very long time to be motivated to do something. However, if you start moving your body, your physical body, your energetic body, the motivation will come to do more. So that's why a walk in fresh air, in sunlight by the sea is just a thing for me. I am a big believer in visualization. I know visualization isn't a tool for everybody. Some people love it, some people don't. But I love spending that little bit of time on visualizing the life that I am manifesting. So there is that part of it as well. I used to be an awful lot into writing. I used to write down a lot of things.
Yeah.
But that's not really my thing anymore. It was a few years ago. It's not so much anymore. The only thing that I really write down now is I'll write down a new goal, what I want that life to look like, or daily would be writing out my gratitudes, the things that I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
Or maybe a to-do list, because I'm getting a wee bit forgetful sometimes. But the things that I write down is my gratitude list. So usually for me, it's the attitude of gratitude, visualization, and then the moving into action.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're very lucky that you live by the sea, aren't you? I mean, not that you're lucky because you created that, you went for it, and we can all do that. But I think it's just great energy by the sea.
Oh, totally. The ebb and flow of the waves it really does something. And I've been researching that a little bit to find out exactly what it is that goes on. Because for being so spiritual, I'm incredibly left-brained. I like facts and figures in black and white, which very, very strange. Show me it in print and there we go. If I have it in black and white, I'm happy. And there is something to do with being near the water, the sea, that actually makes changes to the physical brain, where we move out of the fear, the fight or flight, and we move into a more relaxed state of mind, and it does make those changes. Then there's also with the sea salt, the positive and the negative charges of the sea salt in the air does cleanse the aura. It cleanses the energy field, which will allow you to create that energy in your aura to magnetize in what you want.
No, I totally agree. And of course, the sea is governed by the moon. The moon is a female energy, and the female energy is creative energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we all have a feminine and a masculine within us. So, yeah, I think it is. It's you get lots of good ideas, don't you? The creative.
Yeah, I know. Definitely. A friend of mine tells me, he's like, see, in the morning you should go and you should write by the sea, and I'm like, I like that. But it's just a page, maybe it's just a couple of lines, maybe it's just a voice note that I'm leaving myself, but yeah, the creative juices do get flowing by the sea.
Absolutely. So you say that you don't really like to do sort of writing in terms of like scripting with your visualizing, so do you just sit and think about what it is that you want, what you're calling?
So anytime I go for a new goal, a big goal, the big one, once we've got what we've want, we've manifested and we're going for the new one, that's when I do the writing. That's when I write it down. I would have wrote out my goal statement every day. That just got a wee bit too much for me because I wasn't in a good energy of that. I was more like I have to do this. And that's not a good energy to enter into those types of practices. So whenever I'm going for a new goal or I'm doing a monthly check-in, 90-day check-in with myself and my business, that's whenever I'll write things out. It's not so much a daily practice anymore, but it does happen throughout the year. And I enjoy it that way. Like say it's every 90 days, I'm writing out a new goal, or I'm tweaking the goal from the previous 90 days based on where I am. That's more of an enjoyable experience for me. So then I have my new script.
Okay, nice. So how does your intuition work for you? I know that, it's a big part of your life and you're very good at trusting it. How does it show up for you?
Usually it's those little intuitive nudges in the solar plexus whenever an opportunity comes up or something said to me. It's like, oh, this is in alignment with who I am and with what I'm creating. There's that little nudge. And I will be honest, sometimes I don't follow it and it's almost as if my guide nudges me on the shoulder. Like it feels like there's the hand on the shoulder that'll give me that little push going, this is what you've asked for, isn't it? This is your next step. So I do get that sort of brightening, lightening, and that solar plexus feeling. Sometimes you just, as you know, the claircognizance, you just know. You know what's going to happen. You know what's around the corner. You know it's that step as well.
Mm.
But it does show up differently, I have to say, when I'm working with my clients. Not just doing like the likes of, tarot readings or things like that. I've thankfully had quite the waiting list for readings for a number of years. So it's not so much that, it's whenever then I moved into the hypnotherapy and the mindset side of things, because it's, again, just another form of helping people. Whenever I'm working with people and helping them set their goals and we're like maybe moving through our course of treatment, our programs together, I can clairvoyantly see what the next step is for my clients, which is quite cool. Being able to see these things for them, see the opportunity that's going to be presenting themselves for them, and it's usually spot on. Sometimes it's just a little bit different from how I see it, but it's clairvoyantly seeing those things for my clients.
I think that's a bonus for us and for our clients, because obviously
Yeah.
we both, work with the unconscious mind in various different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because we've got our psychic abilities and we're able to blend them with,
Mm-hmm.
like I do it with NLP, it does give the client a different experience if somebody hasn't got the psychic side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Absolutely, especially whenever you have your client in that deep hypnotic state, that wonderful hypnotic relaxation, and they're so open, they're willing to receive. That's whenever I tend to see a lot with my clients. You can see the things that they're letting go of, the experiences that they've had, but also the things that are about to happen for them. I love it. It's brilliant.
It is. It's wonderful. So tell us a little bit more before we finish about your work and, what you want people to know and how people can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, my website. I think I've already given you the links for those. Yeah. So they'll be somewhere in and around there. Pretty much my work is all about helping people to be their most authentic selves. That's the basis of my work. I have been doing readings professionally for like 14 years. And I have always been looking for the next thing to help my clients. As I'm sure you can understand and relate to that, Amanda. You see clients maybe multiple times a year and it's the same issue or the same problem, and not really knowing or even being able to try and fix that problem for them, because I didn't have the tools available to me. Like I'm a medium, I'm a tarot reader. That was the height of it then. So I was always looking for, what can I find out here that's going to not just give my clients guidance through a reading, but help them fix the issue to create a better life. I came across rapid transformational therapy, past life regression, hypnotherapy, and then my business started to move in that direction. And my thing is, again, it's being authentically you. And that looks different for absolutely everybody. No two people working with me is exactly the same, even if it's the same issue. I have worked with everything from, you name it, world-class mindset mentors. Like, they've came to me for pushing through their money limitations. I have worked with that single mother who is dealing with anxiety and depression. I work with weight loss. I work with addictions, smoking cessation, fertility, pregnancy, all of these things, you name it. I work with my clients to help them become their most authentic self, to really break through those limitations. And even though I have a few clients at the minute with the similar sort of issue that we're working with, but working with me, it's different for client A and different for client B. I don't do cookie cutter. I don't do a one size fits all. I work with each individual to help them become their most authentic self. And it's just the most rewarding work in the world to be able to help someone to remove the past fears and judgment and guilt and shame, because I know what it's like. I've been there. And to get a message from them in a few weeks or a few months, guess what? We're pregnant. Yes! And those things just make me so happy when people come to me. And it's sad that I find people come to me as a last resort. Where if they had found me a while ago, it probably would have saved them a ton of money and a ton of stress. But the amount of people that come to me going like, I've tried this diet and this slimming club and this doctor told me I'll never get pregnant, and, I'm addicted to this drug. And it's whenever I see that they're really, really suffering and that they're really, really struggling, and I just see the light within them and how absolutely perfect that they are, and that they can break through that. Okay, yeah, you might have a drug problem. Okay, you might be addicted to painkillers. Okay, a doctor's told you that, you're going to have to walk with a stick. Let's just forget all about that, and let's work on bringing that potential within you that I can see. Let's bring that to the surface. Let's bring that out. And people that maybe do follow me on social media, you probably just see me, hypnotic gastric band, hypnotic gastric band, hypnotic gastric band, which is stuff that I do quite a lot. But there's so much that your mind can do. You just need to learn how to work with your mind. The number one rule of the mind is your mind's job is to keep you safe. That's right. Whenever we form these crazy beliefs, especially things that were told by a professional in one way or another. And it's like, a doctor told me that that's it, I'm done for, I'm never going to have a baby. People buy that on, and it's like, I have 100% success rate with pregnancy, 100% success rate. People come to me with unexplained infertility, and 6 months after working with me are pregnant. But because we bought on this belief system from this professional, we think, they've done uni and they've done this, that, and the other. They must be right. We buy that on, so our mind goes, right, okay, let's take that. We don't know what other experiences are preventing you from getting pregnant. We don't know what other experiences you had in childhood and in babyhood and teenhood that are preventing you from releasing that weight. We don't know what experiences that you've had that are keeping you broke. We just don't know what they are, and your mind is doing what it thinks is a good job by keeping those things away from you. But once we uncover and we get rid of those, you can really begin to shine your light on the world and just show how goddamn amazing you are. Sorry, I don't think I answered your question. I think I went off on one, didn't I? But this
to hear anyway. But I think you're right. We have enough of our own limitations without sort of taking on anyone else's, don't we? So it's good that you're doing this work, and I think that anyone that gets to work with you is really lucky. So one last question before we finish. If you had any advice to give to people, whether it's your own, whether it's somebody else's advice that you've implemented, what would that be?
Trying to think. First thing that came into my head there was just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Absolutely, just do it. But what I would want to say to people is, because we know how easy it is for us to get in our own way. If you are not getting up and doing the work, you need to revisit your goal and you need to revisit your why, because it's not big enough.
Exactly.
Go big or go home. Just do it.
Love
really.
That.
It takes just as much energy to manifest €10 as it does 10 million. just as much energy, no more, no less. Now, obviously, there's fine nuances to all of that and beliefs in between here and there, but go big or go home. It takes no more energy to manifest one thing than another. So you can do it, and if you don't believe in yourself, borrow my belief in you until you build that belief yourself. Because I believe if I can manifest the life of my dreams, I'm no more special than anybody else out there. So if I can do it, you can.
Exactly. Oh, thank you, Sean. It's been lovely talking with you today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this with us. So I'll put all your links in the show notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sean.
Ciao.
Bye. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If so, please hit follow and share my message by sharing with your friends. It would be amazing if you can leave a review. All this will help, and it activates the universal law of the more you give, the more you receive. So it's a win-win. You can find more good stuff between episodes over on social media. Just search The Angel Mystic on Facebook, Instagram or TikTok, or check out the links in the show notes. I'd love for you to connect more over in my free group in Abundance Manifesting, all on Facebook. I hope to see you there.